or robotics, but I have all the confidence in the panelists that I will be shortly inviting on stage. These are people that are knowledgeable, they have lived it, and they have come ready to share their experience. They've also come to learn from you. So I look forward to hearing from them. You'll be listening to them, but they'll also be listening to you. The title for this session is Robotics for Smart Mining, exploring how cutting-edge technologies are transforming the mining industry to improve precision and safety, essential for efficiency and sustainability. The protocol team, if you could help bring in those that are right outside, then we can shut the door and start our conversation. I need to point out something. There's a beautiful room, AD 11. Have you guys been to AD 11? Anyone? Barbara has, Ray has. How was it, Ray? Like the best business lounge. Guys, I said this earlier, there is AD 11, which has been set aside for private sessions. Don't abandon us when there's something happening in the auditorium. No, we're not asking you to go there when there's something happening, but whenever you have some free time, when you pick interest in someone, please go to AD 11. Make use of that place. It is beautiful. Ray said it's like the best business lounge in the world. So please use it. It's AD 11, and let's keep the conversation going online. Rwanda Mining Week. We promise to look for every comment, every question. I have Indangamunu. Someone has lost their ID. Mujiraneza Gustav. For those that do not understand English, we do not want to leave you behind. And so in the spirit of not leaving anyone behind, kindly ask for an interpretation kit. Please do. Just put up your hand. There's someone who will deliver the interpretation kit. What we're discussing here is very important, and you're here because you matter to the conversation, you matter to the industry. So we do not want you to be left behind. Kindly, if you don't understand the language, ask, and you will be given the translation kit. I would love to invite on stage Benjamin Karenzi, who's the CEO of Zora Robotics. Let's appreciate Benjamin as he comes up. Next is Ray Power, the CEO of PRI. Good to see you, Ray. Yes, anywhere. And last but not least, Kelvin Rihimba, the CEO of Mindtech. Kevin should be the youngest on the panel. Yes. Is he? Oh, Benjamin, you never know. At least I'm sure you and I are the oldest, Ray. Good to see you. Thanks so much for making time to be here. And as I said earlier, I'm not an expert in things robotics and AI, but I have all the confidence in these gentlemen to educate me and anyone else among you who's not as equipped as I am. Ray, I would love to start with you. As part of my research, when I was getting ready for this conversation, I realized that you cannot talk about robotics without talking about AI. I would like you to set the stage for us.
Well, that was very good. And it's good that it was impulsive and how we bring AI into the conversation at the beginning. Because it is true, you cannot have robotics without AI, and our technical guys here, I'm sure, will speak a lot more. But I would like to say that AI is an awful lot more than ChatGPT, and robotics is more than just people doing funny dances in a bar. Exactly. You're going to do this for us later. So on the mine, we're using AI and robotics in this context to automate certain tasks that might affect safety, which these colleagues will talk about. But more than that, we've used it for things like the video that we've made on Mining Week, and then we can use it to analyze video imagery from the processing plant, where our mining engineers can train the AI. I want to set the stage today because this today is about for the Rwandan mining community, in the artisanal community, who might be thinking, how do we get there? And again, I'm not going to talk about it too much because the colleagues have a lot more to say, but I really think it's important that AI and robotics are probably going to be spoken about synonymously today.
Yeah.
I think that's the best.
Thank you very much. Benjamin, Ray mentions the artisanal community. I would love you to either encourage them or discourage them. So can you cast a vision? Can you make it clear to them how robotics, and AI will help make their lives better?
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. You know, sometimes when we talk about these new technologies, they scare people in a way. But I think earlier today, the RMB CEO mentioned that all the gadgets we have a component of these minerals that the people in the audience that extract, which I think it's now time that we adapt and get familiar with these technologies within the mining sector, from what it was and to where it is transitioning and actually to where it's supposed to be, which is, I think earlier off the camera we're discussing on how every value added in terms of the technology we introduce will increase the standards of what Ray exports, and also the confidence of the global market in our mining industry. So with AI and robotics on our side as Zora Robotics, we are approaching it from an inspection and safety, where we need to send these robots to go do inspection in areas that are unsafe for human beings to go fast, so that at least whoever enters the tunnel is aware and of what to expect.
So when you say robots will go fast before the humans, so there is a chance. It's not like the robots will go there and stick there and the humans will never ever need to go there. They're just going to clear the way and make sure that it's safe.
Yes, it's goal to have a full view of the cracks in these tunnels, and even if there is a maintenance that is needed to be done in terms of the ceilings that have been put into these tunnels, and as well as to check about the toxin gases that are there. So whoever that is entering is aware, and they can now improve their safety measures. And that fits into, Ray said earlier, about increasing the safety of the miners in Rwanda and probably across the continent. Yeah.
Kelvin, through MindTech, you are driving technological innovations. I'd love for you to share your experience with us. What exactly do you do? How does your work happen? What are some of the challenges that you encounter when you go out in the field?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the question. So I would start at MindTech. Mainly, we are developing this type of technology.
Could you just move closer to the microphone?
So at MindTech, we are mainly building this type of technology that is building a new era of mining, where we are pushing more safe, sustainable, and AI-driven mining operations. So one of the challenges that I could easily point out is like exactly understanding, mainly showcasing value to the stakeholders, what AI means to their operations. And I'll just give them a specific use case, right? For a mining site on a daily basis, you can generate 100,000 to 5 trillion of data points at your site. Here I'm just touching point on workforce movement, clock in and clock out, machinery that you do have, the sensor logs that you do have in your tunnel, your production log, your excavation logs, and everything that needs to be reported to you. But it comes to an end of the day when we are going to analyze of this data. We just analyze 10%. That's the human capability to be able to analyze just 10% of those data that we have collected the whole entire day. And when you just aggregate it into a year, you just find there is a lot of missing points that are causing bottlenecks for your operations. And this is where AI systems comes in, right? With the large language models that we can be able to build that exactly fits within one's operation, contradictory to the other existing technological solution where you need to fit your operation to the technology. Rather, right now, what we are trying to do is exactly is the technology that fits one's standard operating procedures and operations. And from that on, you can just get insights on how to drive your business and make data-driven decision cases. I can give you like 3 examples, such as decreasing downtime that we've been able to cut down from 30 to 60%, being able to inspect, log, and safety incidents till to its resolution in a short time while this task is being automated. That's a real use case that decreases even safety incidents from 10 to 30%, and not only leaving behind precision engineering, which is the thing that generates much more of what goes in the cash flow of these stakeholders exactly.
Wow, that's incredible. Ray, give us examples, because some of the things that you 3 are saying sound quite alien to me. But I need you to point out examples. When people say that AI has revolutionized the mining industry, what exactly do they mean? In your place today at PRI, what AI tools are you using? How are you using them?
Yes, so as definitely I think the oldest person on here technically shouldn't be able to use my computer properly anymore compared to my young colleague. However, basically what you just said is the computer can watch something 24/7 always and check perpetually. Our mining engineers, they might come and check the equipment periodically. They'll walk past the spirals, they'll take a look, and they might make an adjustment. With AI, you can have a camera look. The AI can keep 24/7 monitoring, and it can optimize the process in the engineering day and night. If we add some robotics automation where we might split the spiral to the left or to the right, for those who use spirals will know we're talking to you, you now have effectively mining engineers becoming trainers for the AI model. So as a mining engineer, we're not going to see people lose their jobs, but just like back in the 1980s when accountants feared they would lose their jobs because Excel became a thing, way before your time, it's not going to put people out of work, but the way we do things now is going to free us up for other things. So I think what's going to happen, and this speaks to the whole of the African continent, Africa looks to industrialize. What we're talking about here today in Mining Week is using what's in the ground, the mineral resources, to be part of that industrialization story. If we leverage automation, AI, and robotics, we can exponentially increase that speed of industrialization, where China took 40, 45 years. It's arguable that Africa could do it in 20 years, if we embrace it. So speaking to the artisanal mining community represented here today, they need to come and talk to these guys and say, how do we get involved? And it might be as a cluster. For example, I think you can say, maybe you're not going to have one robot per company. Maybe you can talk about that, how they might do this.
Absolutely. I like that is a practical approach on how we can achieve it. Looking also with these technologies that once it's something new, also we think about the cost and the pricing and the business case behind it. And it would be a great way to create consortiums with companies so that one robot can serve a number of mining sites on a routine basis, on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, depending on the inspection calendar that all these mining sites do have. So it will be a great way and a great an approach to look at, because to bring efficiency in terms of the investment that is needed so that every company doesn't have to overstretch with its own robot and own systems when these are shareable tools.
Kelvin, for some of your innovations or some of the tools that you have, if I'm not wrong, you said the times when you work with cooperatives. Can you shed some light on that?
These packages that we just tailor for cooperatives, exactly mainly on the artisanal mining, is just seeing how this technology can be able to be available on scale. This is meaning like if you are a certain cooperative or a certain organization where you can build the infrastructure, you can be able to ship the infrastructure, divide the cost among the members of the cooperative, and from that on, you can start getting a huge return on investment because you have a shared infrastructure under Mindtech within your cooperative, hence making adoption of this technology not just what we used to have for large-scale mining companies only, but even artisanal mining companies that are working together can be able to access that type of technology. And touching on point why this is the era where now it's all possible when we just compare it to the other eras. It's just like the way this technology is built can be able to fit at any type of operation. Here I mean like for everyone who has different standard operating procedures, rather than just shipping technology that is just standardized with this is exactly how this process must be done. And you need to change the entire team and train for you to be able to fit that technology. But right now, we've been able to build what I could call like a fit and lock key, where we can be able to customize solution even at a small scale of the companies, exactly. Thank you.
Ray, you want to throw in something?
I've got an idea.
Yes, you've got an idea, give it to
Well,
us.
because we've got lots of foreign guests in the room and lots of Rwandan miners, there's obviously the discussion around getting finance into the community here. And there's also the discussion about getting refining and value addition here and beyond. We had a conversation with one of my colleagues just before lunch today, and he's a specialist in value addition technologies, and asked me, it kind of is bizarre there isn't more here. There was no logical reason. However, the answer is lack of finance and lack of management team links to the technology. Now, speaking a bit about what Calvin was saying, a lot of the artisanal mining community, when we do due diligence on supply chains, they're lacking good governance documentation. Doesn't mean they're not governing well, but what you're providing is the ability for them to document the good governance. Where AI and robotics comes into the conversation, most of these people on the artisanal community are not measuring the volume of their tailings. You can deploy a drone, you can measure it volumetrically, you can put that into the data. That kind of governance and data is what the financiers need. Now, we lack time. We don't have 10 years to train a generation of good governance administrators to go and be deployed out in the rural communities where the mines are. But with the bright guys here, you can, as an artisanal community, automate all of this, listen to the investment community as to what kind of records and governance they want to see. For example, in our company, it's really important to our downstream customers, the big electronics companies, that we can prove that people are not working more than 60 hours a week. Now, in our mine and our refinery, we have facial recognition clock in, clock out. It's very cheap. It's the cost of a tablet. With our technology partners here, I'm sure they could deploy it in the artisanal community, but at the moment, I cannot say if I buy from one of the cooperatives, I cannot prove nobody worked more than 60 hours a week. But with the technology, we don't have to train administrators. It can be deployed. We can then prove it, and Rwanda as a whole can see more value for the minerals it produces, and then the owners of those mines can monetize that in overall business value. Does that make sense?
Sure. And I would add something onto that, exactly on certain use cases that we've been able to review around exactly. This comes into investment and as well as financial access for these types of companies. When they are evaluating exactly like saying, like, for example, my mine is $3 million worth, but there is no way you can be able to prove that exactly your mine is worth that type of amount of money, but with existing technology that trace and can be able to log production capacity of the current company for the past trending of years, and being able to map out the results that you currently have at the company and the entire structure and the governance that you were talking about. So there is also a potential for financial unlocking, and as well as great deal making sure that you are not shooting yourself in the foot, but as well as you are proving data-driven reports that can be able to not only access your finance, but as well as make you raise investment into that type of aspect.
Great. Benjamin, somebody could ask what robotic solutions are most immediately applicable to our scenario, the Rwandan case, and then what conditions must be in place for us to successfully adopt?
If I start with the latter, one would be the connectivity, especially for if we have to send this robot really deep down to the tunnels. But that also, there's a workaround it. But the most immediate AI and robotic solution I see, apart from maybe applying IoT for the mechanization that is commonly used within the mining sector, is on safety and health of the workers, and also the monitoring and maintenance of these mining sites. Like what Ray said, especially with the registration system that you have, that one could easily be combined also with checking the vitals, even for the mining workers before they enter, to check their respiratory capacity before they get into these tunnels, also to check their blood pressure, and also so that we know whoever that is entering into the mining site is fit for that. And that's like what Kevin said, that all is massive lots of data and information that could feed into the standards that Rwanda is implementing to make sure that the safety of the miners is vital into this. And as we move forward, we also need to see how we integrate these systems also to be able to trace if the mineral price really reflect into the standards of living of these mining workers. Because with such systems, we'll be able to really record and see the life as it changes, as it grows. And at the same time, because the mining workers are the ones who are really on upstream, trying to get it's good. It will be good for them eventually to see that with such a systems, they are able to also trace their life a year ago, 2 months ago, and to date with such a data. So on inspection, on monitoring of sites and maintenance, checking all these key elements that the cracks I mentioned earlier, so the toxic gases that which most mineral workers, mining workers are associated with respiratory diseases. So we'll be able to check a bunch of information. And as we move forward, also we'll now start seeing robotic and a combination of robotic and I would say automation of maybe cracking rocks, so that you don't have to see individuals really, we reduce on the manpower and we see the machine working on that side. But for now, I think the inspection is very is a quick win that we can achieve in a short period of time.
Wow, that's beautiful. Very soon we will open the floor to you, our lovely audience, to ask your questions. But just before that, Ray, Benjamin talks about our artisanal miners being associated with respiratory diseases. Every time you talk about mining, we're talking about precious stones, valuable, expensive. But then for most, especially most of our continent, the people that work in those mines or live around there, those communities that are associated with diseases and poverty, as you talk about smart mining, practically what needs to be done to make sure, as Benjamin said, the value of the minerals is reflected in the miners, the people that go inside those tunnels.
It's a good question. And we're not poisoning people, just to be clear. I think it actually speaks to the transition that I think is aspirational here between artisanal mining to mechanized mining. CEO R&B mentioned it in her opening speech this morning, and I know there's a lot of fear around if that happens, do we lose jobs? I had a conversation yesterday about the AI. If AI continues at this pace, where do we stand? Do we lose jobs? I think from our own experience, we're probably one of few, if not the only, who's gone the whole journey from artisanal to a fully industrialized, and we actually have more workers than we did when we were artisanal. But the key factor is the following. The workers are not on the front face breathing in dust. Because of the scale of the operation, the production cost is lower for an industrial mine than an artisanal mine. The jobs transition from, some of them remain technical, but some of them transition into administrative roles. And again, going back to the learning curve, because I think actually what we've spoken a bit about here today, we've taken liberty and spoken about just good old-fashioned digitization. But Rwanda needs to leapfrog into that as well. We leapfrogged the landline telephone era with smartphones. Mobile phones, and now we can probably leapfrog skills acquisition through traditional means by training using the tools available to us today. So we can take a new look at education and roll out training models even faster than before. So we should be thinking about how to take an artisanal workforce, teach them in technical and governance roles so that we don't lose jobs, but that we increase the value of the productivity per role. And I think that's really important that mine operators and owners take that on board and look at how they can turn those into more valuable, productive jobs, because that's how the value will stay in the country, instead of seeing the typical miner in a cooperative, he's not driving a Land Cruiser. What we can see, though, by replacing governance, people leadership, foreign leadership, is less needed because most of those tasks that could be done, for example, like a CFO, can be automated now. So it means mining cooperative owners here, if they take the leverage seriously from AI and automation, they can build big mining companies without sitting waiting for somebody.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you for that. We would love to come to the audience. We have some microphones that will go around. We will pick how many questions? We have a few minutes to go. Maybe five questions. If we can raise 5 questions, just put up your hand. Quickly introduce yourself, briefly ask your question. You can direct it to a specific person or leave it open, and then one of them will take it up. So just put up your hand so that the microphone is delivered to you. I see one hand here, one hand up there. Where are the ladies? Oh, there's another hand somewhere there. Oh, there's another. Oh, great. I've seen 4. In fact, I think we've already filled 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's one up there. You're a late comer, my brother. You'll wait for tomorrow's panel discussion. Please kindly just get up and introduce.
Thank you very much. I have just only 2 questions quickly. One, if I heard you clearly, these technologies is going to help us administratively. But I want to ask, how are they going to help us to increase production? 2, is there any way, if really, again, I heard you clearly, these technologies have the capacity to determine or to know how much reserves we have underground? By now, we do things by estimation. Do you have that sufficiency? Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a good question. The next one. So we'll get all the questions and respond to them.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shani Uwimana. I work into a quarry construction supplies. I had two questions as well. One is for Kelvin. We've heard a lot about AI, and we would like to know exactly how that can work exactly in an area where there is no internet. Another one is for Benjamin. We have seen Zora robot, and can you explain how that can help me, and if it's not expensive? Thank you.
I hope you got the questions, huh? Brett,
Good afternoon. Am I okay? Okay, it was a bit loud. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tsecho Fatso. I'm from Johannesburg. My question is, we talk about Africa having this youth dividend, growing population, etc., whereas countries in the West and East as well don't have as much, okay, maybe not China, but they are leading in the development of technology and robotics. So while we are excited about Africa's potential, do we see the youth dividend being overrun by or being replaced by this technology? Am I making sense?
If you did, you'll get an answer. There was another hand just behind Sefo. Yes, there. Oh, sorry, just hold on. There's a young man that has the microphone.
Thank you. I'm by the name Nezashi Manuel Ivan from Rwanda Coding Academy, and I have actually a question and a suggestion. As said, robotics and artificial intelligence can be integrated together to perform even more complex and useful tasks in mining, such as enhanced exploration and extraction. Is there a way to integrate quantum computing to the robotics system so as to enable the sensing of changes in environment based on the physical properties of the elements in environment? For example, magnetism or density. In the mining industry, the contrasting of minerals and ordinary rocks by magnetism or densities. The suggestion, in order to make efficient systems, you must have clear and clinical algorithms. I was wondering if maybe you can provide training or courses for us students to train more in perfecting algorithms that can be used to transform the mining industry in Rwanda through robotics. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great questions. And the last one.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Stephen Mwakesi. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. A company is called Extractive Insight. We do a lot of data analysis in the extractive space. My questions will try and just capture what has been mentioned before by some of the people questioning, but what does the mine of the future look like? I think somebody needs to paint for us a picture. A mine that's running on robotics, that is running on automation. What does it look like? Secondly, Kevin, you talked about running AI on mine sites. What data sets are you using? Like, are you just originating these data sets right now, or are you using LLMs trained on data from mines which are not African contextualized? Or how are you working around that? Because AI uses data sets that it's been trained on. Finally, on the robotics question, just to sharpen the questions that was asked, Africa is dusty. There's no power. There's so many things that could go wrong when you're running robots underground or in different spaces. So what is this new thing that has emerged that genuinely can be able to help mines across Africa utilize robotics to the point whereby we get ultimate value from this. I hope I'm clear.
Thank you. You're very clear. Thank you for those brilliant questions. We'll have the gentleman respond to them. If time allows us, we'll have one or two more questions. But for now, let's deal with what we have received. You can start anywhere. Benjamin, do we start with you? So there are those that have been directed to specific individuals and others in general. Respond to any.
Yeah, I'll start, maybe I'll talk about the first question around if the systems we are deploying are to help for administrative or rather to improve the efficiency. Both, I would say both, because everything feeds into the other. With the AI tools that, but it's unfortunate as well, administrative part, maybe Kelvin can also talk much on that. The tools for administrative are tools that have been here that most people have used before. But as you know, most administrative tools that don't have an AI component into it are still retrieval-based. So it also depends on what you have been feeding the system with. And looking at the future of the mining sector and the AI in general, and also to add with what Stephen just asked on the future of mining, is that the more we add the administrative tools, the AI, build AI solutions for mining, then we'll be training all these data sets that could allow, whether it is a single company, to be able to deploy their own AI chatbots, so that them as a company, as a staff, they can still get information straight. But in general, as a country or as all the sector of mining, then some of these AI tools will be able to do generative solutions and be able to advise the mining sector in general. So that by that, I mean, we can make some data-based decisions. For not trying to be an expert in mining, but I think the more we automate the entire extractive sector of mining with advanced tools, robots or crushers, and so on, then that way we'll see miners, like what Ray said earlier, going into other tasks, doing other tasks. And at the same time also with the deployment of these robots, because everything can start, we can take baby steps, we do everything step by step. But eventually we would be able to see, to have a situation where some of these AI tools can do interpretation of geological maps and data. So that also reduces, or will be able to know what are the concentration of deposits by having these AI tools reading the geological data, so we can know which, where do we have more concentrations of mineral deposits than the other. I'll stop there to allow my colleagues to say something.
Got another idea. Our little student friend over there, thank you for that very good question. I'm going to speak to his question, even though it's quite broad, but he gave me a couple of points which I think translate into an opportunity and an obligation for us up here today and the mining board and the mining community. First, quantum computing, probably going to happen in your lifetime, probably a challenge within ours. We probably haven't caught up quite yet with how much we can get done with regular GPU-powered AI computing with the likes of what NVIDIA are doing. That is to say, though, keep thinking in that direction, because the older people of us will probably just say it can't be done. But that doesn't mean it can't be done. It means they can't do it, okay? You stick to it. The second thing there, geophysics and exploration data. There are some companies out there doing it. I think it has some challenges because I think the analysis of the data is amazing using AI and, let's say, high-powered computing. The acquisition of the data is a challenge. Seeing what's under the ground without drilling, I'm not going to say it can't be done, but at the moment, it's a high bar. Then speaking directly into your thing, can we offer courses? None of us have thought about that. But you're clearly going to be smarter than somebody like me when it comes to AI and what the possibilities are, because you are having innovative ideas that are way beyond people who've been trained what cannot be done. So what I would maybe urge out of today's Mining Week, or this conference, is we can have a chat with RMB, we can have a chat as colleagues and mining community. Could we perhaps set up a data-driven department with RMB? Because there is clearly an intersect for ICT ministry and RMB. They don't work in silos. If we're going to take Rwanda with the ambition that Rwanda and the vision that this leadership in this country has, is leapfrogging all the time, we should start treating this like an information-driven sector and not isolated from ICT. So I think we have to thank our young colleague for showing us the gaps in our thinking.
Yeah, great.
I'll try as well as to respond to some questions that was raised here. So when we are just talking about administration exactly, we just tend to forget exactly what industry we are talking in. Most of the work is done on the site exactly. And then what's the one thing that we've been able to realize is that the more you just try to run things in silos exactly, this is when you are just analyzing the 10% of the data exactly, and you are leaving the 90% behind. Just having each department working in silos, and people at the administration level are just giving tasks and just being able to grasp what they can be able to have and then just push back to the people there on the site. So there is a need, and that's what we are providing, something that connects that worker who's inside the mining tunnel to that person who's making the final decision, making sure that all have the same common understanding. And I had a question like that was emphasizing on exactly there is scarce of data, and there is also as well as being able to use like open source large language models exactly. So what we are doing exactly is first of all gathering the data on site through what we do provide, because we do not directly deploy AI systems. We first of all make sure that you are that score of digitization first before you go to the AI, because that could cause a disaster and a failure and loss of investment for these companies as well. And through that process, we've been able to train up to 6,000 data set, fine-tune them with an LLM to be able to understand exactly operations according to the type of operations each company might be able to using. So that's the work that has been done, and being able to not just having the AI at a large scope or what everyone is having, or what we usually call in technical terms a GPT wrapper, but something exactly that understands the operations of a specific company and the scale of a specific companies, helping that person who's in the tunnel be linked and connected to the person on the board making the final decision. And this, we have been able to successfully achieve it. And going back to the question that was also highlighted about connectivity and AI system not working in a place where you can't have like internet access. So if this question has arrived before I started, there is a lot of money I could have saved, because we've made a failure by making an assumption that we will be working in an area that has connection. And from that one, we faced a lot of trouble till we were able to maneuver around that. And what we currently use is mesh network that is powered by long-range frequency. And when the data can be, we just have like a gateway or a server, a place where there is internet reliability that can be able to push the data that is being gathered across those internet deficient areas, and can be able to push back it to the server. But also thanking the government so far on the exact work that is being done for the internet adoption, and as well as making sure that there is internet coverage in the current country that minimize the cost associated with those mesh networks that we are able to build to just transmit data. So that's the answer. Exactly.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Guys, I wish we had enough time or more time to continue this conversation, but unfortunately, we've got to bring it to an end. We have the exhibition hall. Zora and PRI have booths there. I know Mindtech doesn't have, but these gentlemen are still around. If you have any questions for them, please find them and have a conversation. Make use of AD11. That room is there. If you're interested in getting into this or you want to learn some more, kindly have a conversation with them. As a wrap-up, we will be giving off closing remarks. I'll start with you, Ray, because I want you to speak to someone in the audience who is here for the first time. You've been living and working in Rwanda for over 10 years. I would like you to share a little bit of your experience and why someone here should come invest in Rwanda and not anywhere else. As you close, Ray.
And it's going to be closing. So basically, no corruption. For real, no corruption. You'll hear people talk about it, and you might run into obstacles because that's business. But corruption gives you a fair playing field. I think Rwanda is a really solid investment climate. The government are open for business. There are trials and tribulations, but you're dealing with real trials and tribulations that from business, not with shadow ones that you can't put your finger on. I would say you get a very upfront, welcome, warm government. There's many things I could say, but that's a great starting point.
Great, thank you. Calvin, your parting shots?
Sure.
You could have business partners in the audience. You know?
Sure.
Spot them, please.
Sure. So, one thing that I could end up just closing up on is that data is the new oil, and this company generates millions of those type of data, not only daily, but also when you see the scale of this data generated across this mining site on a year basis, it's really enough. And this is a sector where, like, exactly information is the key for how you spend the time at the mining site and every type of decision that you are making. First of all, starting with any individual that hasn't yet been able to digitize operation, there is much more return on investment and value that can be unlocked through digitization of your process. Here I can mean exactly viewing into portfolios of what the work has been able to be done, and being able to take your mine from artisanal and being able to have scale up your mining infrastructure just due to the adoption of technology, which is something that they should not stay behind with, because what we are talking currently right now, it's not something to come in the 5 years or 10 years to come. It's something being implemented and being deployed by local companies, exactly, not the need of just going abroad to see consultants that can be able to come and deploy on your site. So even for companies that have been able to reach that extent of digitization still, right, who are looking for how do we connect our infrastructures. Having them in silos doesn't help them. There is data loss and misinterpretation by the siloed systems. So we are here to help them exactly connect all the existing infrastructure and have one intelligence platform that can be able to unlock much more insight to drive their business operations.
Great.
Thank you.
Data is the new oil. Benjamin?
Yeah, thanks. It's great to be on this panel and in front of different investors and business owners in the mining sector. At Zora Robotics, we try to innovate around using robots for activities that are high risk for humans to perform. And we keep innovating and researching and doing quite a number of projects. So I'm happy to partner with any of you who will be interested to partner with us, so we can have these robots and systems that really serve the mine workers precisely.
Beautiful. Thank you. It has been a pleasure for me to moderate this conversation. I've really enjoyed it. Did you guys enjoy it? Fantastic. Can we give them a round of applause? And you better clap for yourselves for being quite engaged. Please, appreciate yourselves. It's a good thing. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Now I invite you to take your seats. Calvin, Ray, and Benjamin. All right, we've left those seats up there because I'll be inviting other people to take over. We will have 2 presentations on East Africa's edge, critical minerals for a tech-driven world. Please join me as I welcome Professor Stanislaw Wokowicz, Polish Geological Institute. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Stanislaw. And next we have Justine Uwinjimana, a senior geologist. These two wonderful gentlemen have a presentation for us. And please let's pay attention. Afterwards, we will have a Q&A.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from Polish Geological Institute. I'm not the businessman. I'm just a professor scientist. I work with the economic geology. I want to present you some slides on the mineral resources, how to evaluate, etc., etc. I'm not specialist on this geology of this region because I cooperate with my colleagues from RMB, Barbara Akaliza and Jean-Claude Garouet with their team. So they are very, very strong in this field of geology, mineral resources in this region. So, please, I want to present a few slides about the tantalum, zinc, tungsten, lithium, and rare earth element deposit. But thinking locally, because generally we speak about these deposits located here, we must look globally, because we must compare our research areas with in the global scale. Here you have in this place you have a mineral resources map of this belt, starting from the northern part of Zambia via DRC, Burundi, Rwanda up to southwestern part of Uganda, and you see here a lot of points, different kinds of deposits, metals, etc. Surely in this part, in southwestern part, is belonging to Zambia, etc. This copper belt part and Katanga, we know that there are very big copper deposits. Yes, but this definition of mineral deposit is not a geological concept. It's an economic one. Yes, because I think that here in red you can see the very simple definition of mineral deposit is an accumulation of a valuable component which exploitation will bring economic benefit. It means that, for example, in one place in the world, high concentration of something and not economic but much lower content in another place is economic. For example, you can find some deposits of uranium, for example, in Canada, yes, with the content of uranium about a few percent. It's uneconomic, not under exploitation, but in opposite, in Namibia, you have the calculated type deposit with content 200 ppm. It's economic. So it is well explained this definition. Then nature sometimes brings us different various surprises, you know. And if you work in the field and you make research for the mineral resources, it is necessary to use the scale of your results. For example, here you can see two pictures. Yes, In one picture you see here, it's me and my younger grandson and my daughter-in-law with older grandson. Who is bigger, who is smaller? Here is the situation is in opposite. You must to have a scale, real scale, to compare all these things. So for us, for geologists, the scale is a global deposit of prospected raw materials. First, few slides about the rare earth elements. Genetic types of deposits. Here you can see the different types, genetics types of deposit, and the content of rare earth oxide and or resources. So you see here that real deposit or rare earth element deposit contained sometimes few percent of rare earth oxide. Generally, this content is really high, not low, because you know that rare earth is rare only from that names, not from the geochemical point of view. And here you have the volume of those resources. So we calculate this in million tons, not just a few hundred tons like this. But if you want to discover a real deposit with economic value, this deposit must contain high concentration of rare earths and in plus big volume. And here you can see the different deposits, for example, in carbonatitic massif is, for example, Mountain Pass in the US, in California is Bayanovo, in Mongolia, in China, etc., etc. So you see that rare earth element deposit must be very rich and very big. And then here you can see, I think that all of you knows this big peak of price of rare earth element in between 2011 2012. Then big gap, and those elements the prices shoot down. Yes, it's then it's the economic information from the EU. So EU import quite a lot, because we generally speaking we haven't in Western Europe rare earth element deposit. We have the concentration, some occurrences, but in point of view of as a deposit, it's not true deposit. Speaking about the history of rare earth, so you see here that from the beginning places, that was the Mountain Pass area, is a big US carbonatitic deposit. Then now is Chinese, so-called Chinese area. Yes, and go further. In this simple map, you can see the location of the rare earth element deposit, which was exploited or which are exploited right now. You know, one simple question. Do you know how many deposits right now give 100% of world needs for the industry? Only 9. Only rare earth element produced in 9 deposits give us 100% of our needs. But only 2 of them are exploited for rare earths. Is Longdan in China and Mundwell in Australia. The next 7 produced rare earth element as a byproduct. It's not main object of exploitation. Even the biggest one, Bayanovo, it is not rare earth element deposit, is the iron, in fact, deposit. Then here, closer to us, here is a map of alkaline rocks, massive carbonatites and kimberlites in Africa, and also with this with the white points as the volcanoes. So you see that in Africa you have a lot of carbonatic. For example, in Angola, where I cooperate for a long time, there are 16 carbonatic massives. So generally speaking, this potential is quite big. But up to now, if I know well, in Africa there are in Malawi is one deposit which will be exploited, and the concentrate will be exported to my country, to Poland. So, generally, for conclude, then over the 900 geological structure contain, it's possible that they contain the rare earth element deposit. According to the USGS data, documented resources of rare earths is about between 90 and 100 million tons. So it means that there's no problem of deposit of rare earths, but it's a question of technology of recovery and separation of the metals. Then tantalum. Tantalum is a critical raw materials for EU if I remember well, from the beginning. Then here you can see the map of the distribution of deposit of tantalum together with niobium. So there are not too many, but still there are in Canada, in Brazil, of course in this region here too. Yes, in DRC, in Rwanda, Burundi, and also in Uganda, and also in China, and etc. Yeah, and here you can see this plot. It's the content of tantalum and the resources. So it is about 1,000 ppm, and the resources 100 or 1,000 ton. It's a good deposit. Here you see in this pictures the information about the largest producers of tantalum. Is of course it's changed through the time, but the information from the last year after mineral commodities supply prepared by the USGS each year. So here you can see that produces Rwanda, Nigeria, Mozambique, Ethiopia, DRC, Burundi. So from Africa, from this tantalum deposit in this region are important. It means that they are important. Yes, and here you can see the changes of the prices of tantalum and concentrate. Yes, so I think that what is important for tantalum, some part of tantalum was produced was together with the lithium recovery from granites or pegmatites LCT, but the last time I think that this type of deposit has a kind of crisis. And I think that due to this crisis, this source of tantalum decreased for the time. But maybe it will be replaced by the recovery of tantalum from the tin ores, like we can observe here in Rwanda. Then tin. Tin is critical for China and USA, but up to now is not critical for EU countries. But I think that at the next list of critical raw materials for EU, tin become a little bit up and be the part of this group of critical raw materials also for EU. In this map, you can observe the distribution of the tin deposit in the world. So we see that the biggest part, the biggest production is related to the southwestern Asia, then also Bolivia, Peru, then Iberian Peninsula and Cornwall in Ireland, and also, of course, this part of central part of Africa. Those four provinces give more than 85% of production. And here's another map presenting the distribution of tin deposit in the world. Here you can observe that the Indonesia, China, Myanmar, Burma produce the biggest part of tin. Africa about 9%. Still quite a lot. And what is important that about 40% of whole production of tin, of cassiterite, is mined by the artisanal and small-scale mining. So this is why this tin deposit, tin generally speaking, is known as not critical but conflict metals. And according to the data from USA, from USGS, so on this list of biggest producers, we see here from the beginning the DRC, then Nigeria, then also Rwanda. Next, the tin for some conclusion, and here in this plot you can see the evolution of the prices of tin. So they still go a little bit up, yes? So I think that this tin deposit located in the central East European part of Africa played a quite important role. This production is led mainly by artisanal and small-scale miners. But what is important, in my point of view, is that here also in Rwanda we can observe a lot of tailings of post-wasting and post-mining deposit, and due to the low, not so advanced technology done in those deposits, there are quite a big amount of cassiterite. So we can treat it as a secondary deposit for future. Tungsten is a critical raw material for EU. And in this map, you can see the distribution of mineral resources, the deposit of tungsten in the world. So, of course, this part of Africa is quite rich on this type of deposit. But here in this plot, it's from this data prepared by USGS, we see here that from the up, and Rwanda is here with production of about 1,200 tons per year. So, but please see here, the provisions for tungsten was like this, that in 2020, the production was more than 91,000 tons. And it was expected that in 2026, it will be 115 tons. At fact, from this data, we see that this provision was wrong. The production was 91,000 tons. So it is less than 5 years before. And some conclusions. So this tungsten market is quite stable, and but the prices rise a little. Rwanda is a significant supplier of tungsten, but recovery from the primary ores needs to be improved. And also it's the same like I told about the tin. Also, mining tailings storage facilities could be a good supplement to the production from the primary deposit. Here is a photo which I took 1 month ago, somewhere in Africa. Lithium, it's a very curious metal. You see here in this map that in the world there are quite a lot of deposits of lithium, different types of deposits, but the most important located if this red point is in the pegmatites and granite, and this blue is in the brines. And here you see the lithium reserves by the biggest producers. So you see here, Chile is brines, Australia brines, Argentina brines, China, then the United States. In my opinion, it's a very important thing, because, you know, I cooperate with Africa for 20 years, and the last few years, every time when I discuss with the geologists, they told me that, we have a very, very good plan for the research of lithium, because we have very nice structures with the pegmatites, etc., etc. But the recovery of lithium from the hard rocks like pegmatites is much more expensive, this technology, comparing to brines. On the other, I also want to show you that also in EU, in Poland, because we prepared, each country belonging to EU, we have to prepare the national plan of mineral resources research. And we, in our country, we check all underground brines in the deep water horizon, and we checked the content of lithium. Also, it's this here is from internet in Poland. It's information from it was written 2 months ago. Germany discovered the world's largest lithium deposit. The old continent is on the path of resource independence. You know, almost every 2-3 months, you can read in the internet that it was found the largest deposit of lithium in the world. How many the biggest lithium deposits exist? In my opinion, 1, but maybe 10, maybe 15, like this. So, to conclude, for lithium here, in this plot you see the curve of the changing of the prices of lithium. So, about 2 years before, the price goes down 6 times. And is like this. What it means? That the deposit located in the hard rocks, like in granites, like in pegmatites, will be for a long time uneconomic. It's my opinion. It's my opinion, because the recovery, as I told before, from brines are much cheaper. Much cheaper. Then, another thing, the lithium is used and will be used for the production of batteries, yes? What do you do if in your car, the normal battery go down? You go into the shop, you ask for the new battery, and they pick your old one and give you new. Yes, it will be the same with the lithium, with the cars, electric cars use the lithium battery. So it means, in my opinion, that this recycling, it will be almost the same like you can see here for lead. Almost 90% will be recycled. It means that right now there are no reason to go up the prices of lithium. On the end, it's a static sufficiency of the selected metals. Tin is only for 14 years. It's not too much, believe me. Zinc, almost 20, gold, lead, etc., etc. Tungsten, 57. Lithium, right now, is for 125 years. This static sufficiency. For our Earth is more than 250 years. Oh, sorry. So, final remarks. In my opinion, the importance of discussed 5 commodities resources in Rwanda is tungsten, is number 1. Tin, tantalum, but the rarest element, and the lithium, is very small. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Stanislaw Walkowitz. Very soon I'll be welcoming your staying on stage, but just before that.
Mwiriwe mwese, abantu batumva ururimi rw'icyongereza bafite ikibazo cya translation, hari tools zihari rwose zabafasha. Mwatera akaboko hejuru bakabafasha abatabyumvise bose. Yes. Murakoze.
Murakoze cyane. All right, the floor is yours, Justin.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Mining Week, and since you are still here, I would assume you want to be miners or you are friends of miners, and you want to know about the minerals of the future. Professor Stanislaw has talked about global, and I am glad he started from there because he's following the stages of how we get to the mines. For me, I'm going to focus on East African region, and in particular, Rwanda. I will try not to be as technical and try to make vocabularies a bit light, and I will go as fast. What is a critical mineral? For those who are not acquainted with critical minerals, as a definition, a critical mineral is a mineral you must have, but not be able to easily get. In other words, it's a mineral of which the most supply is controlled by a few countries. And there is no easy substitute for that mineral. But why does it matter? Because I believe now we are on the 5th industrial revolution, or probably towards the end of the 4th industrial revolution, which is, computers, AI and stuff. And the 5th is going to be on integrating humans and machines. These critical minerals are essential for that. It's basically the foundation to that step. So they are used in electric vehicles, AI hardware, semiconductors, and most importantly, renewable energy. And another part of the definition is the demand is higher than the production. For example, the USGS has, I think in November, published the list of critical minerals for 2025. And you will see lithium, tantalum, tin, and tungsten, and I will concentrate on those, but also copper, cobalt, graphite, nickel, and niobium, all of which we have in the East African region. So these are key critical minerals in East Africa, and for 3 Ts, or what we call traditional metals in our region at least, tin, tungsten, tantalum, which you find in Rwanda, Burundi, and DRC, lithium in Kenya, but also potential in Rwanda. We have experience with Mushan on the Nhunga deposit that we were exploring at Trinity Metals since 2018. Has big potential to be one of the top 10 lithium deposits in the world. You have rare earth elements, which you can find in Burundi, Tanzania, and Kenya. Graphite in Tanzania, but also nickel, copper, and cobalt in Burundi, Uganda, DRC, and Tanzania. This is, I just want to show you how important our region is in terms of these 3 metals plus lithium. If you look at tantalum, you look at tantalum here, DRC, Rwanda, and Brazil. Let's focus on DRC and Rwanda. They are making a big portion of that production. Tungsten, look at Rwanda. This is as of 2023. Number 6, I think we're clocking in somewhere around 4th or 5th place. You look at tin, again, you find DRC and you find Rwanda there. But look, who's controlling most of the tin? So, despite the artisanal and small-scale nature of our operations, we still make a strong presence on the list. Imagine if we banked on that and mechanized, installed processing plants. We could easily get, up here. A very good example is the Nyakabingo mine. In 2019-2020, we were producing 15 to 20 tons a month. With simple mechanization, locomotives and small skid loaders, we've gone from that to above 100 tons monthly. Rutongo, the same, 14. For coming from 15 up to above 50, 60 tons per month, at some point even above 100 tons per month, with such a simple mechanization improvement. Now, if you look at the 3 Ts, you take Rutongo and Musha, combine them, they make the second largest tin producers in Africa. That is after Alpha Means BCA mine. Nyakabingo, most of you know, is the largest largest tungsten producer in Africa. Nunga, I've mentioned about the potential there. But across Rwanda, this map shows you the green is wolfram or tungsten, red is cassiterite, blue is coltan. But if coltan is not produced in mass quantities, to give you an idea, DRC in 2023, who produced the most, hasn't even reached 1,000 tons per year of tantalum. That is how rare it is. But we have mines with the scalability opportunities there. For example, the Gwinhwav tin mine. You can make that mine produce probably 4 or 5 times what it is producing now. Gifurgwe and Bugarama tungsten. And in between, there are potential other discoveries. Southern province in particular, for tin and tantalum, big pegmatites, which need proper mechanized mining. So there is untapped potential in country, and we need investment into exploration and mechanization. I think Rwanda has done airborne surveys across the country. Some large-scale data is available. We can start from there. But we need to have access to that data to start with. Where to find the 3 T's? This map is an old map, obviously, but it combines part of Eastern DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, Southwestern Uganda, Eastern Tanzania, and the pinkish colors there are what, most of them are what we call tin granites. Well, probably not most of them, but quite a lot of them. They were very critical to generate tin to the point where we call them tin granites. If you want tin, tantalum and tungsten, you need to go, you need to go look close to these pink areas. Obviously, old rocks, and this whole belt is called Kibara, or was called Kibara Belt. It's now divided into what we call Karagwe and Kore Belt, which is in the northern part, and Kibara Belt, which is south. And most of the mineralization is, or the 3T mineralization, is related to these tin granites. And they occur in quartz veins, for example, tin and tungsten, but also in LCT pegmatites. LCT stands for lithium, cesium, and tantalum. Now, they are also lithologically controlled. So there is basically a particular lithology and a structure. You can go and say, if I am here, I will find tin. No doubt. That is how simple it gets in the region, really. This is geological map of Rwanda. It might not be as clear, but I will indicate if you want tin in quartz veins, you look into the purple or violet-ish formations. These will be Bumbogo or Nyabugogo formation, Musha formation, Nduba, and Rukira. If you want tungsten in quartz veins, you look into the reddish and the bluish. These will be formations, the greenish and the reddish here. There will be formations such as Vase formation, Urimbi, Ndiza, and Uwinha formations. You go close to a major geological structure, a fold or a fault, shear zone, and you have these formations, I can guarantee you 80% you will find those minerals there. Then you still have to deal with, is this economically mineable? And that question you can answer through other phases of exploration. If you want pegmatite, where you can extract your tin, tantalum, and your potential lithium, if you happen to go into fresher rock, you will look again in the purplish or violet colors there, and pinkish here, the Uwinha formation, but also the complexes, the Butare complex and the Satinsky complex somewhere there. And that's where you get your 3 Ts. Why are we strategically positioned? Like I was explaining, we have abundant undeveloped mineral deposits, mainly because we are under explored. There are some large-scale geophysical data to start from, old geological maps, which also need to be updated or are being updated slowly. You have young, trainable labor, particularly the region is above 60% is aged below 35. That is 35 years. You have schools, mining schools emerging. I think University of Rwanda started teaching geology and mining in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. We're still young, but we are expanding and we are adding more and more courses. Improving infrastructure. For those of you who have come the second time and you were here last year, you would have seen that there is a lot of road infrastructure, for example, going on. And that's not only in Rwanda, it's also in the region. Transportation, electricity, most of which is actually green, but also the integrated market to ease taxes and logistics. What are opportunities there for us? If you look at this chart, you will see that most of it is red. Red being the dominant color of China. Now, if I can consume all I produce, I will put others under pressure, which means there is a need to find other sources. And this appetite is rising for Western world. But East Africa, we have opportunities in vertical integration, from modernizing the mining to introducing processing plants and refineries and smelters. That is a big opportunity. Green energy advantage, 85% across East Africa is renewable, and of that, 65% is from hydro power, and more to come. You know about some of the big hydropower projects, the Rusizi project and others. Value chain, regional value chain. You know, countries, East African countries could easily combine efforts and bank on everyone's existing infrastructure or technology to ease trade, for example, of particular minerals. For example, Rwanda and DRC can, work on easing the trade of tin and tantalum. DRC and Kenya for lithium, and graphite for Tanzania. But there are challenges, needless to say. Infrastructure gap. On transport and energy particularly, you will see that some of the areas might not be accessible, and that makes it very hard to do exploration or to mechanize faster. And electricity. We all know examples in country or in the region where you don't have electricity. That is a major challenge. And also processing. How many processing plants do we have in country? Anyone knows? Probably no more than 3. And they aren't even big plants, they are pilot plants, right? It's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. Financing constraints. I think our financiers are still not confident in investing in us because there is no data to support the return on investment, or scared that it takes too long to get the returns back. But that's also changing. We see the changes every day. Skills shortage. If you ask me to find you a metallurgist in country, I will probably tell you 1 or 2. And that is where we are lacking. Mine engineers, there are plenty, yes, but they still need their skills to be a bit developed with experience. Regulatory gaps, ESG. I think our culture is artisanal. We don't know what big looks like, and we tend to resist on these changes. But it will come, or it has to change. What must we do? Standardize, logical thing to do. Standardize policies across the region. Invest in processing capacity. Create mineral exchanges or combining efforts like I was explaining. Attract consumers, not necessarily the usual driving automakers, but also mining machinery or even other mining products. Strengthen ESG and traceability and build the capacity of our workforce. By now, Trinity has trained over 11,000 heads, if you like, on things like frontline supervisory, mine rescue, safety, things like those. Those are what makes us attractive to the investment. Sorry. Are we in there? That's okay. Oh, it's coming back. To end, and allow me to read this. East Africa is rapidly emerging as a premier global source of ethical, low carbon, and strategically vital minerals. With robust geology, like we've seen, improving governance, and responsible supply chain systems, the region is uniquely positioned to supply the minerals that power electric mobility, renewable energy, and advanced electronics,
With the glasses?
and be the world's accelerating agent for clean tech transition. Thank you and enjoy the week.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Justin. And now we have a few minutes to ask questions. If we can use at least 10 minutes, 10 or so minutes. And then we can take a break and go visit the exhibition, which is in MH2. And while we are at it, we will be registering for the site visit. The site visit is happening on Thursday. I would love for you to register. In a short while, I'll tell you how, but if you already know where you're registering from, please register. Barbara?
Ndababera umusemuzi mu Kinyarwanda uyu munsi wose. Urakoze cyane Jackie. Jackie adutumiye. Ntabwo ari we ni Rwanda Mining Board. Dutumiwe kugira ibibazo tubaza niba hari ibihari, ariko tukaba tubonye n'umwanya wo gusabana no kujya gusura aho twakoreye imurika ry'ibikorwa bya mining hano hasi muri MH3. Hanyuma uyu akaba ari umwanya mubonye wo kusuzanya inshuti n'abavandimwe. Voilà. Murakoze kandi murakoze kuba mwitabiriye, mukomeze kugira umugoroba mwiza.
All right, anyone with a question, we will have the microphone come to you. You'll just put up your hand. We will take five questions. I can see the first hand up there.
Yego. Kandi ibibazo mufite mushobora kubibaza mu Kinyarwanda, Justin abasubiza mu Kinyarwanda na Professor Stanislas abasubiza mu Cyongereza.
Thank you. My name is Vincent from South Africa. I have maybe two suggestions, less questions. One maybe directed to RMB. So this is my third Rwanda Mining Week attendance, and I'm actually learning that, and it tells with the charts that Prof actually shared. I'm learning that the focus is mainly on, and which is okay and important, producing, mining, extracting, processing. And when you look at the charts, then you're going to see also Rwanda coming at the top as one of the biggest tantalum producers and tin and so on. But when now the charts have to talk about the largest resources in the world, you won't see there because, or maybe the largest mine with the largest resource in the world. You won't see there because we sort of neglecting exploration as far as RMB gives it focus on. Maybe it gets 10% of the awareness within this program, and there is more to exploration. And once you understand your resource and you are able to measure it, then that's where you're also going to convince anyone that has to put money what you have on the ground. They know you have the good stuff, they know you are able to take them out, but they don't know how they're sitting, they don't know how vast they are. And that's usually the problem. And the second one was with your company, as a private company, do you currently have, because I heard you mentioning some of the drilling you did, do you currently have a publicly available release on the sort of resources estimated or even measured that you have? And that helps us also, be able to sort of compare, as Prof was mentioning, we have to compare something to something. So that helps us be able to compare the sort of deposit you have, whether it's the tier 1, 2, 3, and so on, and what can we do to actually sort of increase, you get opinions from outside in how to actually increase such a resource. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question, comments, suggestions?
Hello. Thank you so much. My name is Donat Sengumulemye, working for Rwanda Mines, Petroleum and Gas Board. I have one question for Professor Stanley. You made a good presentation with a lot of information about critical minerals over the world. And you conclude with interesting conclusion about the size of the deposits that we have here in Rwanda. Looking with opportunities as presented with my friend Giste, about opportunities through advanced exploration and mechanization that we can embark on to advance the mining operation here in Rwanda. So what's our advice as geoscientists to link with the size of the deposit we have and the opportunities around exploration and mechanization? Thank you.
Anyone else? One more question to go? We have room for one more person. Oh, there's a hand up there. Okay.
Hi, my name is Allison. Thank you for that presentation, and it clearly shows the geological potential in Rwanda. But my question was around access to that knowledge. So how smaller mining operations or mines that are owned by individuals can access that very important information in order to build their businesses and for Rwanda to kind of move towards these development goals, right, in creating employment and all the things that are connected to the mining industry and the positive things that it can bring. So yeah, my question is around how can we improve access to geological information to other smaller mining companies. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I guess that's it for now, yeah? Great. Please go ahead. Prof and Justin, kindly respond to those questions and the comments that have come through.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. And I want to answer for the second person who asked me about this. In my opinion, in front of you there are a lot of challenges, different kind of challenges, but yes, of course, I think that according to the geological structure, etc., the potential of tin, tungsten, and tantalum here is quite big, yes. Because up to now, if I know well, your exploitation is led mainly close to the surface or at the surface, but there are no geological reason that those vein structures not going deeper, much deeper. So I hope that here is the chance to find much bigger deposit in the depths. And of course, you must use more advanced techniques of exploitation, which I saw up to now here in the region, but not only in Rwanda, but also in Uganda and in some other countries. So you must develop this style of exploitation, and also you must develop the techniques of research. My colleague told that the whole country is covered by this area geophysics, yes, in whole country, but for detection in the local scale, you must use the geophysics. For example, using drones. It's a very good one and not so expensive, and also it's in many cases due to the fact that the relief here is very difficult. It's difficult to walk with the equipment, but the drone makes much faster. And the results are very good. And the next thing, very important, is the question of the university level education. This is crucial, in my opinion. It's very good that you have a high school right now. I arrived here to Rwanda last week, and together with RMB, with Barbara Kaliza, we organized the kick-off meeting of PanafGeo Plus, Country Window Rwanda. It was a very nice meeting, not in this nice room, but in another, much smaller, but enough for our group. And together with me arrived the dean of the mining faculty from the Academy of Mines and Metallurgy from Krakow. I think that we should cooperate in this field, this education, high-level education, and I hope that because Poland possesses here in Kigali Polish embassy, it's good idea to ask, to discuss with ambassador, and then with the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Science and Education, to offer for Rwandan young geologists the master education in Poland, because Poland is mining country. It's one of the biggest producer of copper, because we have the Kupferschiefer, upper Permian Kupferschiefer deposit with copper, and Poland is the second largest, biggest producer of silver. We have also the big production of coal, etc., etc. So I want to invite you for this kind of cooperation. And what else? I saw that comparing to the presentation of my colleague, I was a little bit pessimistic. Sorry for this. According to this lithium, especially deposit, but believe me, I think that it will be very difficult to recover those lithium from those quartz deposits, because, for example, I think that you know that here in Kigali you have a so-called Polish tin smelter, a Luna smelter. Yes, and they treat the tin, but in the wastes there are quite a big amount of tantalum. But after the smelting, this type of treatment, the tantalum allocated in this glass forms, so it's very difficult for the recovery. You must use very deep chemical methodology. Is very harmful for environment. Another thing, speaking about, for example, rare earths, in the end of September, I visited some nice deposit, nice carbonatitic massif in eastern part of Uganda. But carbonatites create, they may host the rare earth element deposit, but generally speaking, it's very fertile soils. And I observed there very big agriculture activity. Everything was there 3 or 4 times bigger than than growing in the soils up on the granite. So sometimes it's better use the land for the agriculture, because, as I told, this needs for the rare earths must be covered by by few mines in the world. So this it's my answer. One more thing, because I cooperate with a project funded by EU named PanofGeo. Up to now, we realized 2 phases, 1 and 2, and now the first 3. And during this first 2 phases was prepared the manual for the artisanal and small-scale miners. I hope that it's available. I'm sure that it's available in the internet. I will share this address with Barbara, and you can also access for those manuals in French, in English, in Portugal, in the website of PanofGeo project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I will comment or try to answer the first question, which was around if the data from the lithium exploration is publicly available. No, it's not publicly available yet. We're still doing exploration. In fact, we have only completed 2 phases of exploration. We will move into a 3rd phase at some point. But if you're willing to look into it, you know, there are formal processes we go through and we can get you the data. But it's available. We've drilled just around 12,000 meters, and so far we are the first to drill the deepest hole in the country, which was 771 meters, all still showing spodumene. In our exhibition booth, you can go check one of the core out. We've brought one. And on the 3rd question, which was around access to information for smaller artisanal miners, I guess Rwanda Mines Board would be best suited to answer this question, but there are some basic things we can do. For example, if we get these young geologists and mine engineers into these smaller artisanal operations, they can dig and find you the basic information and use their acquired knowledge to be able to give you some interpretation. But you need much bigger if you want to improve. So I will not particularly answer that. It's also a suggestion for me. I believe if you have spent millions on acquiring data, you may not necessarily want to sell the data, but you can say, I will earn my returns through giving it to potential investors, and indirectly, I will be able to get my returns if I get 5 more investments into the mines, that may be able to get you the return you've spent for the whole airborne gravity survey, for example. And on the second question, which was around linking the size versus mechanization, I think sometimes we misjudge the size of the operation. If you come at Nyakabingo, you will see that you will be able to see the whole mine with your 2 eyes. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a small mine. With proper strategies, you can get it to produce much better, much bigger. In fact, we're going fully mechanized by going deeper into trackless operations. So sometimes let's not misjudge what we can get before we actually try it out. I think that's my comment on that.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate Professor and Justin for their wonderful presentation and for taking our questions as well as they resume their seats. Thank you. Now, gentlemen, you can go back to your seats as we approach the end of the event. Professor, please. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. We'll share just a few announcements before we can call it a day.
Twongeye kubashimira, mwongeye kwirirwa, twongeye kubashimira uburyo mwitabiriye, uburyo mwabashije ibibazo, uburyo n'ibiganiro byagenze neza. Hari ibyo twifuzaga kubagezaho, mushobora kwiyandikisha kuzasura kujya gusura kuri site visit zizaba kuwa 4. Mushobora kureba kuri site ya web, hanyuma mukiyandikishaho hazaba hari ahantu 4 ho gusura. hari abantu bazasura Gamiko, hari abantu bazasura Remco, hari abantu bazasura kuri Universite y'u Rwanda, hari n'abazasura kuri Luna. Mwiyandikishe kuko imyanya ntabwo ari myinshi cyane kandi uje mbere niwe uhabwa mbere. Ikindi kandi hari icyumba cyabateganyirijwe cyitwa AD 11, AD 11, mushobora kujya mukoreramo inama zanyu, mushobora guhuriramo n'abashoramari, mushobora no kugiramo ibiganiro n'abantu mwifuza guhurira nabo hano nka za side meeting, inama zo ku ruhande. Hanyuma hakaba hari, mwibuka ko kandi hari imurika nk'uko nabibabwiye mu kanya muri MH2 na MH3. Muri MH2 na 3 harimo imurika ryiza kuri mining en general no kuri robotique nk'uko mwabibonye, n'abanyeshuri kandi bo muri academia babafitiye ibyo babereka. Hanyuma icyo twifuzaga kubabwira, protocole bambaye imyenda y'umukara, barajya bagenda babafasha. Ku muntu utumva icyongereza, utumva cyangwa urundi rurimi rwavuzwemo, wenda niba hari n'umuntu watanze ibiganiro mu Gifaransa, naho bashobora kumufasha. Ntimuniganwe ijambo, ntimuvunike, protocole ishobora kubafasha. Hanyuma ejo mu gitondo dufite session izatangira saa 3 za mu gitondo. Tuzagera hano saa 3 za mu gitondo, hari ibiganiro byiza cyane birimo cyane cyane kongera gushyira hanze block 10 zizongera gupiganirwa muri mining no muri exploration. No, reka niceceka nzabibabwira ejo. Voilà. Hanyuma ubu noneho turi umwanya tubatumiyemo kujya gutemberera hanze no gutembera ibyo ngibyo, kujya kureba imurikagurishwa riri hanze. Hanyuma tukongera kubashishikariza mwese vraiment mufate umwanya wanyu wo kwegerana n'abantu mushobora gusabana, mushobora kugirana inama buri wese ku yindi, mushobora gukorana imikorere myiza. Mufate uyu mwanya, ntimuzacikanwe, ntimuzavuge ngo RDB rwose nimutugezeho abashoramari, ntimuzavuge ngo RMB nimudufashe. Abantu twababazaniye nimubegere, kandi buri wese atahane nibura amakarte de visite nk'10, byaba ari byiza cyane. Voilà. Ndatekereza ko ari ibyo ngibyo. Umugoroba mwiza kuri twese, dukomeze turyoherwe, dukomeze tugire ibihe byiza. Kandi mining iki cyumweru cya mining ni icyacu twese, abacukuzi, abanyeshuri, abakunda mine n'abakunda u Rwanda en general. Umugoroba mwiza.
Thank you very much, Barbara. So please visit the website and register for site visits, which will happen on Thursday. And then utilize room AD 11. That room has been set aside for private meetings. Kindly let's make use of it for private meetings and networking. And then during breaks, visit the exhibition area, MH2 and MH3. Tomorrow's sessions will begin at 9 a.m. Well, we arrive at 9 a.m., but so begin slightly after 9. Let's be here by 9. We look forward to seeing you, and we now invite you to visit the exhibition area, enjoy some coffee, some snacks, and networking. Have a good evening. Thank you for being a wonderful audience, and God bless you.